Hi Taurus, welcome to your March 2023 Astro-Tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. You're always going to want to check your ascendant with these from now on because we're going to be talking about some of the astrology. And so you're going to start with your ascendant and then you're going to look at your sun and your moon sign because they still will be relevant just in different ways. Remember, they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's start with Saturn. We're going to be looking at Saturn moving into the sign of Pisces, which for you is the 11th house of your chart. Now, that being said, this happens on March the 7th, so it's nice and early, right at the beginning of the month, and we are going to take a look at what that might mean for you. So, you've got Saturn, the lord of boundaries, structure, the hard taskmaster as it's been called, but it's also the energy of responsibility and a reality check. This Saturn transit coming into your sign is going into the sign of Pisces for the next 2.5 years ish. This is a big deal, right? Because it's going to be with you for a while. It's going to see you getting more responsible for the kind of company that you keep, for the kind of communities and friendships that you surround yourself with. This is going to see them potentially become a bit more, not necessarily of a burden, but they might feel like a bit more of a weight. And you might find that you're feeling more responsible in that regard for the kind of content that you consume from the internet, the social groups that you're attached to, the friendship ties that you have. It might also see you start to get really serious about your personal higher aspirations and goals for the future. So this can be a time where actually Saturn can really help you build your dreams or ground them in some kind of reality, but it takes hard work. Wherever Saturn is, remember, we're having to really put the graft in. For this, you have the Nine of Wands, right? So this might be, for some of you, maybe there's a potential to repair or mend a friendship. Let me just move those so you can actually see the cards. Right, look at this. This could literally see you mending or repairing a friendship. This could come through a lot of sort of really deep conversation. Remember, it is a 2.5 year transit, but we're reading the energy of this because the ingress is going to show you whatever it is that's showing up for you over the course of this transit. Now, the Nine of Wands, that's your vulnerability, right? So, they say you are what you hang with. This could also show you or highlight to you where you're, forgive the term, but guilty by association. This might be, maybe a friend says to you like, wow, I can't believe you're friends with that person. Do you know they beat their wife? Or do you know what I mean? Like, that's a really extreme sort of example, but this is what I'm saying. You could become acutely aware of the company you keep and how that actually speaks for or announces you before you've even opened your mouth and introduced who you are. That Eight of Wands also speaks to, this is a lot of communication that's fast and it tends to ramp up. You've got it with the Nine of Swords here. In a lot of ways, this really kind of says to me that maybe you're worried about speaking to somebody that you feel like you're ready to let go of. Maybe this is a group or a connection of some kind that you kind of feel, you know what, I think I'm ready to leave this behind now. I just don't know how to say it. Saturn can give you, the guts and the grit that you need to kind of pull away from things that are no longer really helping you or serving you. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're growing, evolving and changing in some way, that's going to be a part of it, right? Now, you've got two nines. Two nines represents receipt. And so this, I actually think, could bring some kind of remedial conversation with a friend, right? So let's say you've had a falling out with someone a long time ago, many moons ago, and this could be where you kind of, you talk it out. And maybe it doesn't go back to being what it was, but it could definitely improve, right? Like something could be... it could just be better than it was. All right, so on top of that, we have Pluto, on the 23rd of March, moving out of the sign of Capricorn, right? So it's going to stop giving you those lovely trines, and it's going to start bringing you some square energy, which means it's going to make you uncomfortable enough to start making some changes, especially for those of you that have got anything around 0 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, or Scorpio. If you've got anything around the 0 degree of that, when Pluto comes into the sign of Aquarius, because it's going to sit on that 0 degree, it is going to, you're going to feel this, right? In some area of your life, you are going to feel this one. Potentially, if we're looking just at the 4 angles, but especially if you're a Taurus ascendant, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, if you're a Taurus ascendant, you're going to feel this at home. You're going to feel this in your, your physical, all of you being. You're going to feel this in your relationships. You're going to feel this in your career. In some way, shape or form, Pluto is going to start to make its presence known. Now, for you, the sign of Aquarius represents your 10th house of career, right? Now, don't freak out and think, oh my gosh, my career's over, I'm going to get fired and all of that. That's one way that it could go, because Pluto is transformation, change, but it's also the revelation of the pure power or potential that exists in something. And so when it comes into the sign of Aquarius, your true 10th house, for those of you that are ascendant Taurians, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, but still relevant, when Pluto comes into the sign of Aquarius, it's going to start to make you, because Pluto's a very attractive energy. When you meet Plutonian or Scorpionic people, they just have that thing about them where they kind of really draw you in, or they look like they're sort of staring right into your soul. You have that ability. It's not just about destroying what's not working, although that is a potential because it's coming into your career sector. This could be a job. It could be that a boss goes away, maybe somebody that you've really liked or cared about. This is some big shift or change that happens in your career. Now, this transit is only happening for a very short space of time. And then in January of 2024, that's when Pluto will come into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So pay attention to this month especially, but for the next 3 months, just kind of see what's going on in that career sector, because that's going to give you the heads up of this is what you're getting for the next 20 years. For this, you have the 9 of Wands, again, with the Judgment card, okay, and the King of Cups, right? So there's a few ways that this could show up. This could be literally a blast from the past reconnection with a water sign male, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. So this could literally bring somebody that you've worked with, somebody that you've collaborated with, maybe somebody that you really like, maybe even somebody that taught you some very hard lessons with or through your career could be coming back into your world now. And the way that I feel like this may show up for you, because the 9 of Wands, that's your vulnerability. Mind your business, Siri. That's your vulnerability. But then you've got it with the Judgment card, which means there's big change happening. And funnily enough as well, the Judgment card is Pluto. In the Tarotic wheel, the Judgment card is Pluto. So, right, like, look at this. It's the other thing as well. This could see you really starting to get rid of or release certain ideas in or around your career that are no longer helping you. This might actually reveal to you where you've been getting in your own way when it comes to the career. And this could come through a water sign person. Potentially, this person could be a Scorpio that comes into your world. You know, they're really deep. They're really serious about what they do. They're very intense. And they kind of demand that you step up your game. And it might feel really intense. And with that 9 of Wands, you might even have a moment where it's like, this feels not intrusive, but it's almost like, you know, let's say you had problems or issues at school. This person coming into your world could kind of trigger that for you. And, you know, there might be something around this, because remember the 10th house is also your social status, whether you're single or married, whether you're a business owner or a homeowner. All of those things are statuses, right? Statuses of sorts. And so there could be a shift in all of these things. It doesn't have to be that they're coming to an end. It could be that you go from just being a partner to being married. It could be that you go from married to being pregnant, right? There's a big shift coming up here in some regard. All right, so for, it's interesting that that Nine of Wands has come up for the first two of these transits. Mars, the planet of action, energy, passion, desire, irritation, excitation, cuts, wounds, and harshities, right? For you, is coming into your third house of communications. You gotta keep an eye on this one, right? While it's going to make you very busy, Mars coming into the third house, because this is like your day-to-day sort of, your errands that you run, going here, there and everywhere, about the neighborhood, doing the shopping, taking the kids to school. It's all of those things, but it's also your communication. And so for that reason, this month you might notice that you are a lot feistier than normal, and it may also be that other people appear to be that way. Now, because Mars is in your third house, one thing that I do want you to be aware of is how you come across this month. Maybe you don't mean it, but you can come across as maybe a little bit more forceful than you would like. So you just need to keep that in check. There, for this, you've got the Eight of Swords. Okay, so you're biting your tongue on something with the Three of Swords and the Magician card, right? So, I mean, that's really interesting to me. The Three of Swords is a card of release and letting go of, right? Mars is a malefic. It cuts things or removes things from our lives. So this might be something that you've been biting your tongue on, something that you've been holding back on. Now you kind of say, no, you know what? I've let this go far enough. I've had enough of whatever this thing is. And so now I'm ready to get rid of it. Then you've got the Magician card. What this tells me is whatever you're releasing in that third house, there is something that follows it right up. Okay, so what I love about this is, because the third house is your job in terms of like the tasks and the skills and all of the rest of it. This could be that you connect with a very powerful person or a mover and a shaker. But in order to work with them, maybe they say to you, right, and look at what I said to you earlier about this, really intense person coming into your career. This might be somebody, a boss. It could be a mentor or a coach comes into your life and says, listen, if you want to work with me, you better get your shit together and you've got to get rid of this. You need to do this, this, and this. If you're not willing to do those things, there's no path forward for us. So it could be like a little bit of a burden. Like you might kind of feel like, oh, this is very intense. But I got to tell you, they really do route some incredible change in your life. If you're willing to go ahead with it and not be the stubborn Taurian that you are, and you're willing to do the work, some really amazing stuff and shifts could happen for you. Okay, so let's get into your different sectors. For your actions and options, okay, this month, your jumping card there, I don't know if you can see it, is the Three of Wands. Love this, right? Especially for work and business endeavors. This is you really considering what is the next step with the Page of Pentacles. What is the next step in my job, my work, and my business? These are the things that you're really focused on this month, which, with Pluto coming into that 10th house, it wouldn't surprise me. And then you've got the Four of Swords, right? This is for a lot of you, whatever idea or project or aspect of your job or your business that you've kind of put to the back, you're taking it off the back burner this month. It's like, something gives you that proverbial kick up the booty to say, listen, you need to get on with this and you need to start making more progress or more headway. That Four of Swords with the Page of Pentacles, I like this for having ideas but saying, no, that's going to have to wait until I do this. So you're getting really real with yourself this month, which I actually really like. And that could be very beneficial for you moving forward. In terms of your actions, this is a look before you leap kind of message. So for your work and studies specifically, you've got the Nine of Swords. I've got too much to do with the Ace of Wands, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and the Seven of Wands, right? Be mindful of the things that are promised to you this month, right? So for those of you that work for somebody else, I'm going to do all of that bit in the next set of reads, so just stay tuned. There is a lot of new content coming. I'm still kind of working with it and figuring out where it all goes and how it all evolves, so you're just going to have to stick with me and see what evolves out of it. But I will say, you are yeah, there appears to be a consideration here that needs to be made. Just if something seems too good to be true when it comes to the professional or the academic sphere this month, it probably is. I am going to say this month as well, it looks like you're potentially trying to worry things into existence. It's not going to help you or serve you. And it's really odd to see Taurus energy being this in their minds about something. Usually they're just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Try to get some of that back this month. There is a fresh start in the career, which we know. We've seen it in the Plutonian energies. So just something to be aware of, to be mindful of, or to consider. Finally, for your love and relations, you've got the Ace of Swords, so lots of fresh start energy here with the Eight of Pentacles, lovely, and the Five of Swords. So if you are single and looking, it will be through your work, through your duties, through your business. It could be through a client. Somebody that you work with or alongside introduces you to someone this month. But I'm going to tell you straight up, this person is going to piss you off. You've got the Eight of Pentacles next to the Five of Swords. You have very different ways of doing things or looking at things than this person. And so it might be an energy of opposites attract. It might be kind of like a, you know what, you really get on my nerves, but actually I kind of find it sexy that you really challenge me and don't just, you know, do what I say or whatever. Like there's a real connection on that front. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, one of you looks to be either getting a new job or embarking on a new endeavor or some sort of apprenticeship. And it's like, because of that, it may cause problems or issues in the home life. So what I mean is, let's say your partner gets a new job and all of a sudden they can't do the shopping and the cooking every day anymore. And it's like, oh, you know, well, I've got a schedule. And it's like, well, I've got a schedule now as well. So somewhere here, they're potentially butting heads. You will be able to find a way, providing you're willing to talk it out. Remember what I said to you, Mars moving into that third house. Even if you don't mean it to, it can come across a bit more vehement this month. And so you just need to be careful with that. For your money and materials, you have the 10 of Wands. So could be paying off or releasing a debt this month. That could be fun. With the Knight of Pentacles, love this, and the Two of Cups. So if you're partnered or married, your collective finances can really take a lovely leap forward this month, which is great, providing you don't murder each other with whatever you're talking about in terms of your schedule conflicts. I think things could actually be very good. When it comes to, for those of you that are single, let's say, when it comes to your money, this could literally be this could be you're putting the last payment on something. It's like you're paying something off, you're releasing something. And it might even be that this comes through a family member or a friend or somebody that you care for or cares for you, might say, look, you know what, I see you've been struggling with this, let me help. This could also come, maybe not necessarily in terms of them giving you money, but it could be help that they give you in, with, or around the home, or on the home. So maybe they say, look, you know what, I know you're saving for a house, I want to put some money towards your deposit. Or maybe you move into a new place and they say, I'm going to pay for you to have it decorated. There is a blessing here somewhere that comes from a connection or a partnership. Okay, so for when it comes to your physical health and vitality, I'm going to talk about this in the next set of videos, so stay tuned, because I'm going to be getting into all of this stuff. As a general rule though, this is a good month. Whatever you're trying to do in terms of your health and fitness goals, don't do it on your own. Okay, so let's have a look at your weeks of the month. Let's break it down, baby. All right, for this, you have... For the first week of the month, you've got the Lovers card. So there are some decisions this month there's always decisions that need to be made. But for you specifically, this month, in that first week of March, there might be a heartfelt decision that needs to be made that really gets you to pay attention to what your options actually are. You have them. You absolutely have options. You really do. But this month, I think you're going to need to get really... This first week of the month, you're going to be getting really serious about the decisions that you're making, because it kind kind of feels like some of the choices that you're making in this first week, there's no way back from them, right? There's no, whatever it is that you're setting into motion or, you know, removing or whatever, once it's done, right? This is new, fresh territory. For your second week of the month, you have the Star card. That's beautiful. So the Star has, in a lot of ways, when this card shows up, it kind of suggests you've already had the Tower moment. And so whatever hard decisions you're having to make in that first week, the Star card in the second week means that you see the hope that comes from them. I've had to make this decision. I've had to make this sacrifice. I've had to remove or release this person from my life. I've had to go in this direction and close all of the other opportunities that were open to me. But the Star card says there's hope here. Right, this is you moving forward. It also can be, for some of you, if you're single, it will be a friend or your work connections that introduces you to a significant other. For those of you that are partnered or married, I really like this for doing something very outside the comfort zone or the you know, outside of what you normally do, basically. For your third week of the month, you've got the High Priestess. Hidden things are revealed as Pluto moves into the career sector. And Mars moves into your third house, right? So as these shifts take place, there are going to be big revelations. That seems to be the theme for this month so far. There are going to be a lot of things revealed. It doesn't have to be awful. Look, right? It's the High Priestess next to the Star. This could be a surprise that comes your way and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. This is amazing. It could be as well that you reach a larger connection or audience, or maybe you make maybe you have a realization in some regard that opens up a new door or avenue for you. And then for those of you that are partnered, married, or in commitments, this second half of the month is a very fertile time. So if you don't want babies or children, this is something to be mindful about. If you are single, this could absolutely be hidden persons come forward to say, listen, you know, I'm really into you. It's interesting because Aries had that same kind of message, but in a different way. The other thing with the Fool card, new things, new places, new people, particularly new women are coming into your life at this time, and ones that you might even feel like, wow, you know, I really can resonate with this person. Like we just feel connected on a level or on a vibe. So I love this, right? Interesting. And then finally, for your moons, on March the 7th, as well as Saturn moving signs, we have a full moon, right? So I'm going to tell you straight up, expect March the 7th to be quite an emotionally intense or charged day. And just expect some kind of shift or change, right? So for the full moon message, you've got the gate 48 and depth. And the message behind this card is literally about finding your hidden resources, finding the parts of you that need to be aired now, because that's where you're getting or gaining some kind of deeper insight in some regard, right? So your new moon is on March the 22nd, and this is in the sign of Aries. I'm not going to go into detail with the moons because you're going to get your moon reports from here on in, right? Now, you've got the gate 60 and limits. Now, interestingly enough, that new moon in Aries is happening in your 12th house. This is really going to show you where you get in your own way. And it's also going to show you a path through the shit that you create for yourself at times, excuse my language, right? And it's going to see you getting really honest. What I love most about this card is it basically says, when you learn to work within the confines of the limits that you have, that's when you excel. And so that new moon is going to see you having a fresh start in the deepest part of yourself, or maybe just kind of saying, you know what, there's a different way to approach this than I have. So it's a moment of real honesty. Okay, so that concludes your new Astro Tarot scopes. Let me know in the comments, do you love it? Do you loathe it? What did you enjoy? What did you not? This is kind of how things are going to be from here on in, so I hope you enjoy it. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, stay tuned, because there's still lots more to come.